Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good evening. This is our heat final practical session. This is the final part. After that, next week, I hope to get another session for discuss ICT practicals. In ICT lessons, we don't have any parts to discuss theory. Okay, in ICT, we have only three main lessons. They are ICT, we have only three main lessons. The first one is computer systems. Computer systems, that mean computer devices. Okay, computer systems. Computer systems. Computer systems. After that, we have operating systems, OS, operating systems. And after that, software, computer software. Software used in technology, most usable operating systems and most used uh, mainly we discussed Microsoft softwares, and after that we have internet how you use for different uh, industries and technologies. That's we have only four lessons. Every parts we can discuss in a practical class within this time next week. Okay, today our target is complete the heat lesson. Complete the heat lesson practical. This is very important. If anyone miss this part, again anyone cannot understand. I තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ මේක. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, these are all basic practicals we already discussed, and last day I already explained the specific heat capacity by using mixture method. How we find the specific heat capacity? Do you remember? We already discussed how we use mixture method for calculate the specific heat capacity of unknown object. Can you? Okay, before we discuss today lesson, today practical, today we have how we calculate the specific latent heat, how we calculate the what now? Yes, this one. Okay, this one we discussed, determine the specific heat capacity of a solid by method of mixture method, that we already discussed. Okay, do we remember the practicals? If you want, I will refresh you. If you want, I will refresh you quickly how we use mixture method for calculate the uh, specific heat capacity of unknown object. It is very simple. First of all, you need to get a calorimeter. Calorimeter is a thermal insulated container. Thermal insulated container. First of all, you need to get this empty mass. Empty mass, you told empty mass of the calorimeter. Empty mass of calorimeter. I told the mass is M1. M1. After that, fill water into this calorimeter and get the mass. Calorimeter plus water. it is M2 calorimeter plus water. After that, calorimeter plus water, it is M2. It is M2. Then after that, get unknown metal part, get the unknown metal cube or whatever piece, metal piece, then heat it up to 100 Celsius. Heat it up to 100 Celsius and put into this container. Put into this container. Then after that, before that, we need to measure the initial temperature of water. Initial temperature of water. Initial temperature of water that we call theta 1. Then after that, we need to get the final maximum temperature. Final maximum temperature. These words you need to remember. Otherwise, you cannot do exam questions. Final maximum temperature of the mixture, it is theta 2 final temperature. Okay, when we add this metal cube into the water, the temperature, final temperature of the mixture, the final maximum temperature. After that, get the calorimeter plus water plus object, total mass object, that is M3. Okay, what we need, another data, the specific heat capacity of water. Specific heat capacity of water. What's that we called CW. The specific heat capacity, CW or C1 or whatever. The specific heat capacity of calorimeter. It is C2. The specific heat capacity of object. The specific heat capacity of object, think C3. Okay, now think our target is calculate this C3. Then I told, okay, this is last day experiment. Okay, last day experiment I again explain because these basic practical steps and all measurements, these readings, all readings and calculations you need to remember. Otherwise, you can't do practical structured questions. Okay, I will give you past exam questions. You have to answer after today discussion. Okay, I will give you what are the question numbers of each and every past paper. What are the exam question number of past exam questions from this practical heat practical. Okay, if you go to 2015, I think second structured essay, 2016 third structured essay, 2017 fourth structured essay, everything from this heat lesson practicals. Okay, now what is the basic thing you need to understand here? In the mixture method, the amount of when it is mixing, the if there are no any heat energy released to the environment, the metal piece, the metal released heat amount equal to the water and water plus calorimeter absorb heat. That's the absorb heat. Water and calorimeter both absorb heat. Then the metal, okay, the metal release heat amount we can get how? MC theta, because there is no any physical state changes. Water absorb MC theta plus calorimeter absorb MC theta, quantity of heat. Then you can substitute these values according to the experiment. Okay, the mass of the metal Now you can send me the answers for refresh your knowledge last week discussion. Okay, Adisha, how we get the mass of the object? Mass of the object? Quickly down, don't take time. We have a lot of things to discuss today. Today is the most important session for you. How we get the mass of the object? Metal of object. This one mass. Mitum, Mardan. Yes, M3 minus M2 because M3 is the total mass. If I reduce M2, M2 mean calorimeter and water subtract the mass of the M3 minus M2. Don't take time today. We have M3 minus M2. M3 minus M2. The specific heat capacity of the object. Specific heat capacity of the object. Specific heat capacity of object. MC3. C3. The temperature difference of the object, temperature difference of object temperature difference, theta 2 minus, sorry, yes, theta 2 minus, not theta 2, 100 minus theta 2. I told first of all we need to heat this object up to 100 Celsius. Normally for heating process, I think you can remember last day, what we doing simply. What we doing simply? Just add to a water bath and heating. Then you know the water temperature maximum increase to 100 Celsius. Water temperature 100 vada වැඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Why? The water is 100 is a boiling point. Then we can add into a this submerge into a water and heating up to 100 Celsius. Then the metal piece we can heat up to 100 Celsius. Okay, then the metal piece temperature 100, then 100 minus theta 2 is the temperature difference of metal piece. Temperature difference of metal piece. Okay, it is equal to the mass of the water. Mass of the water. Mass of the water. Pasidu? Mass of the water. Mass of the water. Yes, good. M2 minus M1. Good. Because calorimeter plus water is M2. Then if we subtract calorimeter mass, it is M2 minus M1. Good. M2 minus M1. M2 minus M1. The specific heat capacity of water. Specific heat capacity of water C1. C1. The temperature difference. Temperature difference. Yes, for initial temperature of water theta 1, then the theta 1 or theta 2 is greater 1, theta 2 because the temperature increasing, water temperature increasing because it is 100 Celsius. This one 100 Celsius. Therefore, water temperature increasing. Therefore, it is theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 2 minus theta 1. Then plus add calorimeter absorb heat, mc theta. The calorimeter mass, m1. Specific heat capacity of calorimeter, C2. Temperature difference of calorimeter, it is same as water temperature difference, theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, this is the basic equation you need to understand. For then from this equation, if I isolate this C3, that is the specific heat capacity of the unknown metal piece. That is the specific heat capacity of the unknown metal piece. Are you good? Any doubt? That's I explained within 2 to 3 minutes. The last day practicals, our discussion. Are you clear? Are you clear? Yes. It is very simple practical. Then I told there are a few important factors we need to consider for this. I told we need to avoid temperature loss, sorry, heat loss to the environment. Therefore, we can reduce the temperature by 5 Celsius. Then when we add this metal piece, we can increase temperature up to 5 Celsius. Then we can think in this cooling process, absorb heat equal to the heating process release heat. Therefore, we can assume there is no any heat loss or heat absorb during this practical. Okay, during this practical, avoiding heat loss එක අඩු කරගන්න එක, heat loss එකක් නැහැ කියලා අපි හිතන නිසා it is very important. In this practical, we think there is no any heat loss. Okay, we in our calculation, but in the practical, if there are any heat loss, it is not coming correct result in our correct value for specific heat capacity of unknown metal piece. Therefore, in this practical, if we can reduce minimize the heat loss, we can get more accurate answer. Okay, very good. Okay, come to the next question, next practical. This one of heat practical exactly coming. You have only three heat practical, one practical compulsory coming. Okay, come to the second practical of heat. Determine the specific latent heat of fusion of ice by the method of mixture method, using how we calculate the specific latent heat of ice. 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 Okay. Okay. Determination of specific latent heat of ice by using the mixture method. Okay. For this experiment also we use mixture method. We use mixture method, therefore it is same as previous experiment. Okay, it is same as previous experiment. Okay, understand, but you just need to understand very critical, very important few points. You just need to very careful in this practical, otherwise your result will be wrong, your result will be changed. Okay, therefore actually for this experiment we use ice cubes. These ice cubes, I will show you, this ice cube should have specific characteristics. They should be small or medium level ice cubes. Small, small, not small, normally medium level ice cube, not too large or too small. Too small. Okay, I will explain this practical very simply in the board and come to the practical guides. Okay, this practical, probably this is the practical in this time 25 paper. Okay. Okay, first of all, you need to get a calorimeter as you used earlier. As you used earlier, you just need to get a calorimeter. Calorimeter like this. Calorimeter. In second step, you just need to fill water up to certain level. Up to certain level, you need to fill water. You need to fill water up to certain level. Before fill water, you need to get the empty mass of the calorimeter. Empty mass of the calorimeter as you did early previous experiment. First, empty calorimeter, empty calorimeter mass. You need to measure the empty calorimeter mass. Empty calorimeter mass is M1. M1, this is the symbol, empty calorimeter mass. First you need to get a calorimeter, then measure the mass of the calorimeter, it is M1. Okay, after that, you need to fill into recommended level water and measure the weight, empty calorimeter plus, not empty calorimeter now, calorimeter plus water. Calorimeter plus water. Calorimeter plus water. It is take as M2. It take as M2. It take as M2. Empty calorimeter mass M1. Calorimeter plus water M2. Calorimeter plus water M2. Then after, as I explained earlier, you need to select ice crystals, normally medium level ice cubes. Okay, ice cubes. Okay, think they are the ice cubes, ice cube, ice cube. First of all, you need to take ice cube and wipe by tissue paper or tissue cloth. You need to wipe these ice cubes. ඒක නිකන් තෙත මාත්තු කරන්න ඕන. හරි. To remove the outer surface, if it has water layer, we need to remove by tissue paper. Then we need to just add into this one by one, add into this container water. After that, we need to use special type of stir that we called as net stir. Net stir. Net stir. This is very important, that we called as net stir. Net stir. Net stir. Very important. Net stir. Net stir. Net stir. net style නැත්තම් කියනවා අපි සිංහල මේකට කියනවා I don't remember දැල් style එකක් කියලා දැලකින් හදලා තියෙන දැල් අර මේ it just like fish catching one fish catching tool it just like this okay then by using this net style added ice cubes submerge normal ice cube when we add into water what happen they are floating on the water no යාලා පාවෙනවනේ but if they floating on the water what happen it is open to the environment then the heat is absorbed from the for this melting process heat absorbed from the environment no it is not good. Therefore, we need to submerge into water and stir. Submerge into water and stir. That is very important point. Submerge into water and stir. Okay. Then, after adding this ice, we need to get the calorimeter plus water plus ice mass that we name as M3. That we name as M3. Understood? That we name as M3. Okay. After that, that we name as M3. After that, calorimeter, water, ice, M3. Before that, I forgot to tell you. Before we add ice, we need to get the initial temperature of the water and calorimeter. Initial temperature. It is θ1. The initial temperature θ1. Then after that, we can introduce this ice cube into the container and get the when we stirring what happened to the water temperature gradually decreasing. Then we can use a thermometer and take the final minimum temperature here. The temperature decreasing, final minimum temperature, very important. Previous one what we got, final maximum temperature in specific heat capacity. This is cooling process, therefore final minimum temperature you need to get. Final minimum temperature. Final minimum temperature. Final minimum temperature. Final minimum temperature. Final minimum temperature I take as θ2. I name as θ2. It is final minimum temperature. Final minimum temperature. After that, final minimum temperature. After that, what we do? We need to get okay, after that, as previous, the specific heat capacity of water. Specific heat capacity of water required. Specific heat capacity of water, let's say it is C1, specific heat capacity of water. Wait, better to get the symbol as given in the tube. It is CW. CW. CW is go. CW. The specific heat capacity of water. Water. The specific heat capacity of water. The specific heat capacity of water. It is CW. Okay. CW. Simple CW. The next specific heat capacity of calorimeter. Specific heat capacity of calorimeter. It is C1 or whatever symbol. Finally, our required data, the specific latent heat of ice. Specific latent heat of ice, think it is L. Specific latent heat of ice, think it is L. Think it is L. Think it is L. Specific latent heat of ice, it is the specific latent heat of ice at melting, it is L. It is L. Okay, now you can go to the steps I have given here. Measure the mass M1 of the calorimeter with stire. Normally, if you use stire, that's net stire. When we take the empty calorimeter mass, you can use the mass with empty calorimeter with stire. Then we can avoid calculation errors. Okay. Fill about 2/3 of calorimeter with water at room temperature and measure its mass M2. Okay, now we already discussed. Measure also the temperature θ1. Wipe out water from small piece of using filter paper and put those one by one. Okay. ඔක්කොම එක සැරේ දාන්න. One by one. Important. One by one. Into the water in the calorimeter while style taking while stirring taking care instant one piece after the previous one has dissolved. Use a square net squared stire. Net stire. Important. Net stire. To prevent ice from floating in water. We can use net stire for avoid floating of water. Ice floating of water. When the temperature of the water has fallen sufficient. Okay, that I explain later. Okay, then mixture well records lowest temperature. Lowest mean minimum temperature of the mixture. Minimum temperature of the mixture θ2, minimum final temperature. Finally, measure the mass of the calorimeter with the container again, that is M3. Okay, everything we discussed given here, you can read and create a short note in your your word. Okay, this is my experiment. Okay, this is my experiment. First, I got a calorimeter. I measure the mass of the calorimeter. It is empty calorimeter plus style. It is M1. Then I filled 1/3 of 2/3 of no 2/3 of water into this calorimeter. Then I measured the mass. It was M2. Then I got the initial temperature of this water and calorimeter. I record as θ1. Then I added, take the small amount of medium level ice cube and wipe off by tissue paper, then add 1/1 into water, and normally it's doing like this. We get understand, okay? Get a small piece of ice cube, එකක් ගන්නවා, then it is wipe off well, එක හොඳට wipe කරනවා, then it is add into container. Then by using net stir, that is full dissolving styling, full දිය කරනවා. Then after we get another ice cube, then wipe off, then again add like this. 1/1 we adding and dissolving. Okay, melt in the water. Okay, that's a method. 1/1 we adding. We need to add 1/1. Okay, after that, after adding all ice cubes, we can get the final temperature of the mixture. It is θ2. Then they are the other required measures you need to calculate it. Okay, I got up to now, Mitu? Up to now, okay? Simple thing we got. Now it is same as previous question. Yes. Okay, now this is the very important part, the calculation part. Okay, this is my all data I got for in this experiment. Okay, now what is my first step? First of all, I need to decide what happened inside this container. Inside, which one is water releasing? Ice or water? Ice or water? Now it is not like in previous experiment we added heated metal cube. Now it is ice cube. Normally ice temperature 0. Good. Normally what happened? Ice absorbing heat. Ice absorbed heat. This relationship is very important. Ice absorbing always, because the heat is always transferred from high temperature to low temperature. Ice absorb heat equal to the ice absorb heat equal to the water plus calorimeter. Release heat, no? Released heat. Okay, in this experiment also we consider there is no any heat loss. Simple. Now what to do? We need to get what are the equations we need to use for this experiment. Okay, ice absorb heat. Now the problem is when absorbing heat by ice, what happened? It is melting. It is melting. It is melting and it is convert finally into theta 2 temperature. Then first of all, it is melting. Then physical state change ml plus mc theta equal the water absorb heat mc theta calorimeter absorb heat mc theta. Okay, then we can get the values for this equation. The mass of the ice, Mithun, what is the mass of the ice according to the get data, according to the obtained data in the experiment? What is the mass of the ice? Very good, m3 minus m2, m3 minus m2, m3 minus m2, m3 minus m2. Actually, in this experiment, what we finding? L. Therefore, L we don't know. L we don't know. L we don't know. L we don't know. Plus the mass of the ice same. The mass of the ice same. M3 minus M2. M3 minus M2. M3 minus M2. The specific heat capacity of now it is already melted. Now specific heat capacity of water. Specific heat capacity of water into temperature difference after it is heated. Sorry, after it is melted. After it is melted, what is the temperature of water? 0. From 0 Celsius, it is converted into theta 2 temperature. Then theta 2 is the higher one. Theta 2 minus 0, very important. Theta 2 minus 0, very important. Theta 2 minus 0, very important. Clear? Now it is equal to the mass of the water, m2 minus m1, right? Same as previous. m2 minus m1. The specific heat capacity of water, Cw. The temperature difference of water, initial temperature I got theta 1, the final temperature theta 2. Which one is higher one? When we adding ice, the temperature, minimum temperature, the theta 1 is greater than theta 2. No, theta 1 is greater than theta 2. Theta 1 minus theta 2. Everything you need to consider, otherwise you don't have marks. Every points you need to understand and everything mentioned in the practical if they ask a practical exam in that practical question in the exam. Okay, then plus I will write here in the final line. The calorimeter absorb heat, calorimeter mass m1. The specific heat capacity of calorimeter C1. Temperature difference same, theta 1 minus theta 2. Okay, this is the. If any doubt, you can ask. Understood? Understood? Okay, let me share our practical guide. Okay, that is clearly given our all calculations. You can refer again if you want. You can refer again by your practical guide. You can download in the website. Okay, they are the data experiment. And this point is very important. Always, when I told this experiment also, we need to avoid heat loss into the environment. Avoid heat loss into the environment. Actually, not heat loss now, heat absorbed by environment, because it is a cooling process. Avoid heat absorbed by environment. To avoid this heat absorption, we can do this process, do these tricks. We can use these tricks, utilize these tricks. It is given here. Okay, we can use. Now it is cooling process. No, as previous experiment, we can heat up the container, the water container. We can heat up 5 Celsius more than normal temperature. Think normal temperature is 4. Normal temperature is 30 Celsius. We can, initially we can heat the mixture up to 35 Celsius. Okay, 35 Celsius. Then we can add heat. We can add ice into, get into up to 25 Celsius. Up to 25 Celsius. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ 5ක් වැඩි කරලා 5ක් අඩු වෙනකන් ice දානවා. Then we can assume when we heating process release heat, equal to the cooling process, same amount of temperature cooling, then in the cooling process absorb heat amount, release heat amount equal to the absorb heat amount in the cooling process. Understood? Okay, then we can avoid heat damages and we can assume that there is no heat loss in the experiment. There is no heat loss in the experiment. Okay, and is there any doubt? Okay, why we wipe off? I have wipe karan by using tissue papers. What's the purpose? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? Why we wiping here? I said why we wipe using ice cube, using tissue paper. Why we wiping? Good. If it is contain some water amount, it is already melted. No, it is already melted by environment temperature. But in experiment, we need to melt water, melt ice දිය කරන්න ඕනේ using heat and using water and calorimeter heat. But if it is already melted, when we adding, it is from environment temperature. Therefore, it is doing errors for our experiment. That's why we need to wipe off well before add this ice cube into the number of ice cube. Good question. Normally මිතුම් අපි ඕනේ තරම් ice දාන්නේ නැහැ මේකට. If not, if we adding, then we cannot avoid heat losses. Normally මේක ඒක තමයි මම කිව්වේ. Normally think 30 Celsius is normal temperature. Room temperature is 30 Celsius. Room temperature is 30 Celsius. Wait, I'll show. Think now this water is room temperature. Think this is a calorimeter. Okay. Now if it is water 30 Celsius, this water 30 Celsius now. First of all, now the experiment, in the experiment it is cooling process. No, adding ice, it is cool like cool. Therefore, in the first step, before we add before we add ice, we can increase the temperature of the system up to 35. Make a 35 වෙනකන් increase කරනවා. Then the initial temperature is 35. The initial temperature is 35. Then we add heat, we add ice cubes and stirring, add another ice cube, stirring up to temperature come 25 Celsius. Then this is the normal one. We heat up 5 Celsius and until heat down to 5 Celsius than normal temperature, we add ice. Then we can avoid heat damage to the environment. Actually heat damaging, but we consider in heating process loss heat equal to the cooling process absorb heat. මේ වෙලාවේදී loss වුණු amount එක මේ වෙලාවේදී absorb වුණු amount එකට equal කියලා හිතනවා. Therefore we can assume there is no any heat loss. Clear, Mitu? Yeah, good question. Any other question? Any other question, please ask. Don't don't keep with any question, otherwise this one of these question exactly come අනිවාර්යෙන් වෙනවා. Then not only you can go through past paper questions. Each and every small points also exam questions asking in practicals. Podi points පවා අහනවා. Therefore you need to careful. Why we need to wipe this ice cube, why we need to select medium size ice cube, what happen if we select large ice cube, what happen if you select two small ice cubes. They are the questions asked. What are the mechanism we can use for avoid heat damages? Okay, everything asking, you need to provide answers into the point. Okay, this is again given this method tricks you can okay, any doubt in this experiment? Everything okay? Specific latent heat at melting experiment? Okay, let's move into our final experiment. Determination of the specific latent heat of vaporization. Okay, in our syllabus we mainly discuss specific latent heat of two physical state changes: specific latent heat of melting and specific latent heat of vaporization. This is the second one. For this is second one, we need a special structure for this experiment. We need a special experiment kit for this experiment. Okay, let me show you and explain one by one what are the parts of this instrument kit and what are the purpose of them. Okay, I will draw the experiment kit into the on the whiteboard, then I will explain one by one. This one also 2017 full exam question. Okay, first of all we need to get a water container. That's a Bunsen burner. And we need to, this is a boiler, okay, simple boiler. Simple boiler. Okay, after that we need to add required amount of water for that, and connect two lines. Connect two lines like this. Connect two lines like this. Sorry. It's not okay. I'm drawing shapes. Okay, this is a one line. This is a one line that we called as pressure controlling pipe, and we need another line. We need another line. We need another line. We need another line. We need another line, and it is connected to a special instrument that we called as stream trap. Okay, it just like this. These shapes, everything you need to remember. Okay, that is a steam trap. I will explain what is the purpose of them, everyone. Steam trap. And it need and this is the beaker now. This is the beaker now that we called as water beaker, and it need again Bunsen burn. Okay, no need Bunsen burner. This is a this is the beaker, water beaker, and it need water up to this level, and this end of this line should be very close to the water line. Should very close to the water line. And after that, we need to separate these two structures by using asbestos plate. Asbestos plate. Asbestos plate. Okay, give me a second. I will. This experiment is very, very important. That's our exam question. Okay, now what to do? First of all, that we called as boiler. Okay, inside boiler, our target is generate steam. Steam generate करने का तमाम function that we called as steam generate, generator, steam generator. Therefore, that this part we called as steam generator, steam generator, steam generator. Okay, that's a Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner, that's simple. That is, this is the vapor carrying line. Vapor carrying line, vapor transferring line. And this is the very important line. This is a very important pipe, pressure control pipe. 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 Okay, after that we called as a steam trap. That we called as steam trap. Not tap, trap. What's the meaning of trap? Mitum trap කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? What's the meaning of trap? Yes, blocking in Sinhala trap එකක් කියන්නේ නිකන් උගුලක් වගේ එකක්. Water trap. Somehow we can block කරන එක තමයි purpose. Okay, that is the, what's the name for this pipe? There is no name. That's a simple pipe, U-shaped pipe. U-shaped pipe. U-shaped pipe. Okay, that is a calorimeter. That's a calorimeter. That's a calorimeter, not a beaker-shaped calorimeter. And it is contain water at room temperature. Okay, this is the experiment. This is the experiment kit. Okay, the middle one, this one, asbestos sheet. 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 Okay, okay, understand very well what happened here. Okay, first of all, this steam generator, boiler, heating. Then what happened? Water start to heating. Then the water start to vaporization. Water start to vaporization. Okay, this pressure control line important for control the pressure inside the container with normal environment. Control the pressure, equal the pressure with normal environment. Then we can avoid pressure variation inside the. We can avoid harmful effect. Blasting we can avoid by this pressure control line. Okay, when it is heating, what happened? I will draw vapor in red color. Okay, then vapor going through this line, vapor transferring line. It is vapor going through this line and come to this water, come to this steam trap. In this steam trap, what happened in the steam trap? Steam trap එකේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? In the steam trap, if there are any condense, I think you know condenser. Inside the condenser, the happening what? The condensation. Water vapor convert into liquid. If any part of water vapor condense, if it is condense and convert into water, that we can stop here. That's why we call as steam trap. Sorry, not trap, steam trap. Make අපිට ඒ water වලට convert වෙලා આવොත් ඒව අපිට අල්ල ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක අපි මේකට උගුලක් කියලා කියනවා. That we can catch and hold here. Okay, now you can see the steam generated in the steam generator, it is coming throughout the steam transferring line, and it is come to the steam trap. In the steam trap, if any part of water vapor convert into again water in the transferring through this line due to the condensation, then it that we can stop. See what happened, the water amount is collect here, only vapor is going through this line. Understood the function of this water steam trap? The water is holding and only vapor is going through this line. If any doubt, please ask, because every part of this question මේක හැම එකක්ම අහලා තියෙනවා. Function, explain the function of steam trap. That's also exam question. Okay, understood? Or do I need to explain again? Arshad? Quickly. It is not only this experiment we need to discuss. We have another more experiments. Asbestos sheet, I will explain. Mithum, I asked up to now, I got. මම දැන් කියපු ටික හරිද? Arshad? Okay, in the what is the function of this steam trap? Collect the condensed amount of water and only vapor going through the separate and provide into water. Okay, in this water, in this now this the end of this pipe, end of this vapor, only water transfer in U-shaped pipe, the below end we need to place very close to the calorimeter water surface, very close to the calorimeter water surface. It should be very close to the calorimeter water content, very close to the calorimeter water content. This U-shaped line edge, the final end and the water surface need to be very close. Normally like this. Think this is a water surface, and the end of this pipe, it is like this, very close. But it cannot be touched. Okay, touch not make a it need to be very close. And okay, that's all you just need to understand. This asbestos sheet, asbestos sheet we use for avoid heat transferring. This one also heating process, no? Therefore some part of heat possible to transfer into this side. It is a problem. Therefore we need to use asbestos sheet method to avoid heat transfer to the calorimeter by steam generation. Understood? To avoid heat transfer to the right side into calorimeter. Understood? Okay, now only I explained the experiment. We have a lot of calculation parts and take measurements also we need. Okay, up to now, okay. Okay, normally this asbestos sheet very important. Okay, there was exam question. Can you think and answer for this question? There was exam question. Without using this asbestos sheet, to avoid this heat transformation, if we increase the length of this to length of water vapor transferring line. අපි මෙතෙන්ට මේකක් දාන්න නැතුව අපි මේ දෙන්න දුර වැඩි කරනවා. If we increase the distance between these two structures, is it okay or not? Is it okay or not? Is it okay or not? Then we can avoid heat transformation. The heat generated in the steam generation in the Bunsen burner, not transfer into this side. If we can increase the distance of two structures, is it okay or not? Arshad, what do you think? Exam questions. Mithun, what do you think? It is okay or not? Why? Exam not asking only okay or not. Why? If it is not exactly no, we cannot increase the distance. Why? What's the reason? Quickly, Arshad, why? What's the reason? Why? Because air does not absorb more heat. No. This is not the reason. What's the meaning? Because air doesn't absorb more heat. Which air? Vapor? No. The reason is if we increase the distance between these structures, the water transferring line need to increase. The length of the water transferring line, we have to increase the length. Then what happened? The condensed amount of water is increasing throughout this transformation. In the transferring line, the condensation amount is increasing. Therefore, a lot of water fill to the water trap. Therefore, it is block the water steam trap. It is block the steam trap. That's the problem. Understood? මෙතන block වෙනවා. මෙතන water පිරුණු ගමන් මේකෙන් එන්නේ නැහැ. In the water trap, we can stop up to certain level, up to small amount water that we can trap, and only steam is provided into lower structure, into the calorimeter. But if it is coming lot of amount of water, it is block the steam trap. Understood? Okay, this time practical questions asking. Therefore, you need to be careful. Don't take it is easy. Exam, any subject, not easy. Practical thinking questions always asking. You can refer past papers. Okay. Okay, now this is our experiment. Okay, what is the purpose of that? Why we doing this? Okay, understand. First of all, now only I explained the steam generation and providing to the calorimeter. Why we provide? To calculate the specific latent heat of vaporization. Okay, normally, first of all, in this calorimeter, okay, in this calorimeter, same as previous, we need to take some measurements before we provide steam into this calorimeter. We need to get measurements, readings as previous experiment. The first reading is you need to get the empty calorimeters in empty calorimeter mass. Empty calorimeter mass that we record as M1 calorimeter mass. Then the second one, empty calorimeter mass. The second one is calorimeter plus water mass. Calorimeter plus water mass. Calorimeter plus water mass. That we record as M2. That we record as M2. That we record as M2. Then initial temperature of water and calorimeter. Initial temperature of water and calorimeter. Initial temperature of water and calorimeter. It is theta 1. Theta 1. Okay, these readings you need to get before we provide steam into this calorimeter. Okay, now if you got these readings, now we can turn on the boiler. We can turn on this Bunsen burner. Then it is boiling. Then it is boiling water. Then the steam is transferred to this through this stream trap into the calorimeter. Before that, the same mechanism we can use to avoid heat damages. We can reduce the temperature by 5 Celsius. 5 Celsius decrease the temperature. Think room temperature 30. Normal temperature is 30. We can decrease the temperature up to 5 Celsius. Then we take this initial temperature as 25 Celsius. 25 Celsius, and we can provide steam up to heat increase up to 35, 25 to 35. Understood? Then we can avoid heat damages. Actually heat damaging, but we can assume there is no any heat loss. Why? In the cooling process, absorb heat. We think in the heating process, release heat equal to the cooling 5 Celsius absorb heat. Okay, that therefore more, if it is 30 Celsius is the room temperature, we can decrease 5 Celsius, then it is 25 Celsius by using ice or whatever thing. We can decrease up to 25 Celsius, and we can supply vapor up to 35 Celsius, increase 35 Celsius, then we can take the final temperature. Okay, this one also you need to remember, the after provide steam, you need to get the final temperature, final maximum temperature. Now final maximum temperature, very important, these words, keywords, final maximum temperature theta 2. After that, if you want, you can get, not if you want, you need to get the calorimeter plus water plus vapor, water vapor. The mass is M3, same as previous. Okay, now you need to get the specific heat capacity of water. The specific heat capacity of water, CW. The specific heat capacity of calorimeter, C1. The specific latent heat of vapor. The specific latent heat of vapor, that is L. Our target is calculate the L. Calculate the L. Okay, up to now, okay? Any doubt up to now, you can ask. Any doubt up to now, you can ask. Quickly ask, don't take time. Understood? Or any doubt? Okay, now what to do? Now? I'll zoom out that. Okay, now what to do? We need to do for we need to go for calculations. Okay, according to this experiment, we can say which one is heat releasing? Vapor heat releasing, because high temperature. Vapor release heat. Vapor, if there are no any thermal damage, vapor release heat should equal to the water plus calorimeter absorb heat, right? Very simple, same as previous. Then vapor release heat ml plus mc theta, water absorb heat mc theta plus calorimeter absorb heat mc theta. Now you can substitute values. Now you can substitute values. What is the vapor mass? Mass of the vapor? What is the mass of the vapor? Mass of the vapor? Mass of the vapor? Same as previous. M3 minus M3 minus M2. Good. Simple, ne? M3 minus M2. L we don't know. Calculate the L is our purpose of this experiment. The mass of the M3 minus M2, right? Mass of the vapor. The specific heat capacity, now it is already now it is already vaporized. Now it is already vaporized. Therefore, specific heat capacity also, water specific heat capacity that we can use. CW. Temperature difference. Vaporize at 100 Celsius. 100 minus 100 convert into theta 2, final temperature, final maximum temperature, theta 2. Then 100 minus theta 2. 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 The mass of the water now. The mass of water M2 minus M1, right? M2 minus M1, same as previous. The specific heat capacity of water CW. Temperature difference now. Initial temperature of water and calorimeter theta 1. Final maximum temperature. Now temperature increased than the room temperature. Therefore, theta 2 is the higher value. Theta 2 minus theta 1 is the temperature difference. Theta 1 is the temperature difference. Now, plus specific heat capacity. No, the heat absorbed by calorimeter, that is calorimeter mass M1. Specific heat capacity of calorimeter C1. The temperature difference same as water, theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, this is the experiment calculation. Okay, if you not watch this from beginning, from first practical, you can't understand these things. Okay, you have to watch the previous day practical session, and if you any problem, you have to watch the previous day practical session and come to this one and understand without missing any point. If miss any point, you can't understand the full understanding. You can't get full understanding of the experiment. Okay, this is the experiment structure, and that is the final result of our experiment. Okay, any doubt? Any doubt? Me too many doubt? Everything clear? Okay, then let's move into our. Okay, you can read everything I have given here, everything. Methods, special factors you need to consider. This is Young's module. I think if you go to Young's module today, it will confuse, no? You will confuse how many practicals we have. Only we have Young's module, and you have another practicals I need to add here, fluid mechanism. Fluid mechanism. Okay, now you have time. You have time. Now you have time. Please go through again heat experiments, and I will give you past paper questions. Try those questions, and if you want, you can send me, then I can give you mark schemes. You can check yourself also. Okay, however, you need to complete all past paper questions and check your understanding. Okay, that's all for today. Don't get into, don't miss these works. Do within today. හිටට දාන්න නැතුව අදම කරන්න. Because you need to complete within today itself. Otherwise, you can't get full idea. Now you have idea. Now you have basic idea. If you try within today, then again not forget, and you can keep it perfect. Okay. Okay, then this is the class for today. Then we can next week we can start. You will have 1 hour practical session for final Young's module practical and fluid mechanism 1 practical. That is very simple 2 practicals. Then after that we start the ICT practicals. Then your practical sessions will be completed, and next week part the electricity is completed. Then within 2 to 3 days, within 4 to 5 hours, I can finish the environment chemistry. Then we can complete your every works, and next Monday you will have another exam, 5-hour exam. Please get ready and complete your every lessons, missing parts. You can complete and ready for the next week exam. Okay, goodbye.